Hold up. What's good? What they do? It's your boy Purple Lips back with another Purple Lip breakdown. First off, all praise to the Most High, and welcome to my channel. You know what I'm saying? This the Purple Lip breakdown, man. Today, man, we're gonna be going ahead and talk about Tory Lanez, man. Tory Lanez being stabbed 14 times. It's unfortunate news, and I want to give uh prayers to his family, not be and just because I'm happy that he survived, but that they have to be going through all this, and he possibly may be an innocent man. So this is about men who becoming a symbol of what happens when we basically are not protecting our own, and when the system is using our women against us, we and when we basically don't govern ourselves and don't in our communities. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when we have a fraud system, a corrupt system, a corrupt how you want to call this, justice system, a corrupt investigation system, because it was clear signs when you watch or follow this case. Drop your comments if you follow this case on the road to 100 subs. Um, yeah, if you follow this case, go ahead, like it was clear evidence that he had basically it wasn't clear that he had anything to do with it. And that will be the problem, you know what I'm saying? Because he got 10 years sentence when the 10 year or 15 years 10 plus 10 years plus years sentence must be unconclusive when it comes to getting convicted. So the fact that he got convicted for 10 plus years in the prison and it was unconclusive, that don't sit well with me. But we also had this interview where he had maybe like a month ago with this I gotta figure out what his this YouTuber name, but he had this interview maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I thought it was very interesting. And also has another clip later that was a little bit shorter, but this is the first clip of the day I'm gonna be reacting to. Let's go ahead and break this down.
So what is the status of the case right now? I don't know how much you could talk about it, but I know I think you guys submitted for like factual innocence. Is that the word? And now the court is considering it. Can you give us like an update on where it's at?
All right, so I'll break this down so it can make more sense, because I know a lot of people were like confused about this, but this is what it is, right? And I want the viewer to just really, like, whoever you are, whether or not you're on the other side or you're on our side, or regardless, I just want us to think in just logical sense, okay? For real, just logical sense. I'm in jail right now for 10 years. My crime that they charged me with is carrying a concealed firearm and assault with a semi-automatic, which is a handgun or whatever it is. As long as it's a new gun, it's a semi-automatic. As long as it don't got the revolver, it's labeled a semi-automatic. So they gave me 10 years because of the use of a firearm, assault with a firearm, right? So I wanted to just think here, and this is what our factual innocence writ that we sent to the appellate court was about. We said this, and our argument was this. Listen, if there is a man, America, just listen to this. If you are a person and you are being convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison because of the use of a firearm, something needs to connect you to this firearm. Am I right or wrong, Kyle?
Correct. That sounds correct.
Something, in order for you to be guilty of this, something needs to connect you to this. Now, I need you to understand now my facts, not my opinion, not my theory, my facts. There is literally 4 contributors on this suspected gun. 90% contributor on this gun is a male, and the rest of the percentages of this gun are 2 females and another male.
So there's one gun, and there's 4 people in the setting, right? And there are only 3 people identified on this gun, and one of them is a male, and 2 of them are females. Who are these females? Megan and Kelsey. Let's continue.
None of those 4 people are my DNA. So I am 100% excluded, not inconclusive like they said when I was in trial. I'm 100% excluded.
100% excluded. For those who don't know, excluded means that he is not part of. He is eliminated from the situation. Excluded. If he was included, that would mean it will show that he is part of this situation. So that's what we're dealing with. Let's continue.
From this gun, when it comes to DNA, my fingerprints are 100% excluded from the magazine, from the gun, from the bullets, from anything that has to do with this gun. Cedars-Sinai Hospital, with the help of LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, for those who don't understand the abbreviation, together they have put on my discovery that we have lost the bullet fragments. Well, if you lost the bullet fragments, then you can't even attach this gun to the alleged bullets that allegedly hit the victim. So y'all mean to tell me you don't even have number one, you don't have the DNA. You have a 100% excluded person off of DNA. You have a person that has literally 0 handprints on this gun, on the magazine, on any of the casings or chambers. You don't even have the bullets to match to this gun to say that these bullets were even shot out of the gun that you guys supposedly recovered. Right. And then on top of that, the gun itself is sealed.
Damn.
In LA County, so we can never ever grab the gun and do any retesting. The LAPD made
Now, how funny does that sound? So basically, they don't have the evidence to connect Tory to anything, and also the gun that supposedly that they used for the case is also sealed, which means that it cannot be shown again inside the case. You know, it can't be investigated again, can't be tested again, which is, why would they do that? You know what I'm saying? Why would they do that? And my question is, at what position do men have at this point? At this point, what position does a man have? You know what I mean? If you're going to have a system that's already used against you, and a storyline that doesn't even match up or add up, and the evidence that doesn't even add up and match up, but yet you still put a man inside you convict him for a crime that has not substantial evidence to convict him. Let's continue.
Sure, to seal the gun so that there would be no retesting on this gun. When we went into court and we put these things in and said, hey, like, we're factually innocent due to these facts, the court said, you know what? We're going to consider that because there's good reason appearing on what you're saying. All of these things check out. And I want to explain something about the appellate court. The appellate court is never going to give you a judgment until they fully have read thoroughly through what you're saying to make sure that it's true, because their judgments are after conviction. So it's like you've already been found guilty legally by a peer group of 12 people. So it's like we really should not even be like, everything they said at face value is supposed to be what it is. but they go thoroughly to see if there's a mistake.
And that goes to show you that this wasn't about in reasonable doubt. He was guilty before a case even started. He was guilty from the media emotions, from he was guilty from the narrative and the emotions that they wanted you to have behind the narrative that they had behind his narrative. So like really and truly, this was just pushed by a narrative and no evidence to back it up. I'm not saying he's innocent, but do y'all think he's innocent? Go ahead and drop your comments. You know what I'm saying? Free Tory Lanez.
And in the mistakes that they saw, they said, hey, we see that there's an issue here. We see that there's good reason here, and we're going to consider this. That was the last thing that actually happened.
So this is all new evidence, though. Like the 4 people's DNA on the gun, that wasn't in the first trial whatsoever.
Yes. So in the first trial, they kept going. They told me I was inconclusive, but I knew that was always a lie. I was like, I never touched this gun.
So it went from now inconclusive to now completely excluded.
Yeah, once I was in jail, I asked my lawyer, like, can you get a DNA specialist to do this gun again? I know I never touched this gun. And then when he did it again, he was like, oh, I see what happened. They manipulated your DNA. And basically, it was almost, this is what they did. It's like you ever had to wait for a video game and you're waiting for it to load? Uh-huh. So DNA, the way that they did it is like, okay, if I let it load 60%, it's not going to give me the full conclusion yet. So once they loaded it like 60 to 70%, it was like, yo, it's inconclusive. But had they let it go the whole way, they would have seen it was 100% excluded. But they were like, yo, the fact that it's inconclusive and not a match, let's just leave it here because this is the best we're going to get. So they...
Does that sound like a fair justice system? I don't think so, man. We're going to just go with what we have because it's inconclusive, because we know that it's not really the truth. Plus, the story doesn't even make sense for real, and it doesn't even add up to the evidence. Wow.
Stopped my test before it even got to the finished result. Therefore, I went to court thinking that you guys only have an inconclusive test. But I always knew in my heart, this is impossible. I never touched this gun.
Right.
That new fact alone is insane. Just the fact that it went from inclusive to excluded, and there's 4 people's DNA on the gun, and none of them are yours, is fucking. That should be enough for them to open up the factual innocence, like now.
Brother, my judge, Judge Harringford, Judge David B. Harringford. I'm not going to disrespect him. He's, at the end of the day, he's still an honorable judge. He's a black man at that. But I watched this man literally look at me and say, so let's just say I'll take the DNA evidence to be real. And I'll say that it's true. He said this on the record, by the way. It's in my transcripts. He says, I'll take the DNA evidence to be true. But I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, even if I take it to be true, that's not a big factor in his case. That's not why he got convicted. Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? My nigga, what the fuck is you talking about, my nigga? Because that's the whole case.
That's the whole
thing.
Me?
But again, that's what it was, and that's what I've had to endure during this time. And so it is what it is. I'm not sour about anything. I know that God has a plan in me and in this. So it is what it is.
100%.
Damn. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks to have to go through this, because it's like many people are being torn down by the system, and men are under attack. And you know what I mean? And it's not helping that they're actually manipulating our women along the process to thinking that masculinity is not needed when we are the very protection. But they think they're going to get protected by the government. The government going to give you assistance, but they're not going to do no protection. You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of sucks that we have to go through that. But at the same time, Tory Lanez probably wasn't completely innocent. I'm not going to just sit here and make it seem like he's an innocent dude. But if you pay attention to the story, when you see that he has 2 women that he was dealing with, or not dealing with, or whatever, let's say that he was basically dealing with one of the women, Kelsey, right? He's dealing with Kelsey, and let's say maybe he started talking or flirting with Megan Thee Stallion. So Kelsey doesn't like it, or like everybody else saying he I'm trying to find nice words to say it, but he did it with Megan Thee Stallion too, right? So let's say he smashed both of them. You know what I'm saying? He smashed both of these boppers. You know what I'm saying? Both of these boppalinis getting smashed all over the place, and then the one catches feelings, and then she finds out her best friend is smashing the other bopper. You know what I'm saying? Now these both boppers are one of the boppers are more mad than the other because obviously one of the boppers knew about the best friend messing with the other boppolini. You know what I'm saying? So once these women started getting feud, like once one of the women got mad, obviously, you know, she got in her feelings about Tory Lanez. They're chilling together. Things escalated. Liquor was involved. Things escalated. It shows four people that's on the scene. Three people was on hand was on a gun. Apparently, the security guard that was gone was there. Sorry, who was trying to interfere with the gun that was being pulled out. So none of these evidence has the gunpowder did not go on Tory Lane. He the DNA did not show that his he's 100% exclusive from the excluded from the DNA on the gun. He had nothing to do with the shooting.
What?
That's inconclusive. So therefore, he shouldn't even be locked up by that by uh by law. I mean, by the word of the law. You know what I'm saying? That's what it says. But also, let me go ahead and leave with this clip real quick because there was new evidence. Let's go ahead and check this new evidence that was shown today. Well, shown yesterday.
For the underserved community here in the state of California. Today, we want to thank everybody for coming out, all of the press, all of the fans, everyone that's here today. We want to say thank you for coming. Today, we're going to hear some really, really compelling new evidence that you've never heard before. Our legal team will explain all of that to you. We will have updates on Tory Lanez, Mr. Peterson, on how he's doing. It's really sad to see the situation that he's in. And we think it's time, enough is enough. It's time to bring the brother home. So with that, I would like to bring up our lead consultant, Mr. Walter Roberts.
Morning. We are here today to bring your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gaston, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out. But given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as such. He was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Ms. Pete, did not shoot at Ms. Pete, or did not assault Ms. Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Ms. Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a...
Yeah, we heard what we need to hear. We heard what we need to hear. I ain't gonna lie. That's what we need to hear. This is what happened when we give the government control of our truth, man. You know what I'm saying? When we let the media replace our morality, and we just stop protecting the men who basically protect everyone, protect us, all of us, we protect each other, and we protect our women. We're gonna choose the government. Saying, brother, it's time to raise our standards, hold each other accountable, fight for unity, order, real justice, because this ain't real justice. Free Tory Lanez, bro. Free our minds before they take us out too. They already got these robots coming anyway. They don't care about us, bro. And they know that we're gonna stand up if we keep our man standing. If we unite, they're gonna have these if we stand together, they're gonna have these robots come. That's why they have these robots in the first place. Stay bold, stay grounded, and always. It's a Purple Lip Breakdown. Hey, on the road to 100 subs. Let's get it. Let's go.